All right, we are live. Bardic Knowledge, episode something. It's like 4, I think. 3, 4, I don't know. Either way, thanks for joining me again. If you have been here before, if you've never been here before, welcome. My name is Cam. I'm the host of Bardic Knowledge here on our TT2KB channel. This show is all about writing music for our tabletop RPG that we play 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons called the Everstorm. So what we do here is we explore musically, right now we're exploring musically themes of the different characters and that sort of thing. So we are going to be continuing on that journey this evening. After a little consultation with Rain Survives, I think, and after thinking about it, I realized that the Morgaine theme, which we've worked on for the last two streams, probably didn't have enough, at least entertaining content left for an entire other stream. There's definitely work that still needs to be done, still needed to be done, but didn't really know if that was going to be super entertaining, since there's going to be a lot of minutia for that for an actual stream. So what I am going to do this evening is I have been working on it, so I am going to start off here early in the stream by playing what I have added, and I would say we're about 90+% done with that right now. So I'll kind of play what you have, or what we have, and kind of where we're at, and also give you a little example of how it will turn around. So that way, as if you have been following along, you'll know that these are intended to be able to be looped. So if it has to go for 8-10 minutes, we can do that. So in addition to that, I believe I'm going to be debuting one that I've been working on off stream. So you haven't heard any of it yet, but it's one that I've been working outside of the stream. I have many of these to do, and if I only worked on them on the stream, I will never get them done. So that one, we're still in a little bit of a debate. It could be a character theme. It might end up being our ship in the game, the Sarah's Grid. It might be that theme. I don't know yet, but either way, we're going to play that for you closer to the end of this stream. And then in the middle, of course, we're going to be working on a new one. So the new one we're going to be working on tonight is going to be the Skeezer. So Skeezer, who is a wizard, very eclectic little gnome guy, great voice. Rain Survives plays him. This one's going to be definitely a different feel from what the Morgaine one was. Morgaine was more of a let's go out and adventure, let's discover something new that we've never seen before. Skeezers definitely seems to be a more wise, worldly, a lot of intellect, a lot of wisdom, a lot of magic, so and a lot of curiosity. So I think we're going to try to work on those types of themes as opposed to the adventure, go out there, foolhardiness that Morgaine's theme probably had a little bit more of. So before we get started with that, I am actually going to take you through and play what we have basically of the Morgaine theme, which again, I think it's probably about 90+% done at this point. It's got good transitions. Again, really starting the things I have left are definitely getting into the weeds here, or it's just little things of maybe I'm going to bring that instrument down just a hair, bring this one up just a hair, but I haven't had a really chance to sit down and really do yet, but it is certainly decent for listening to at this point. So we are going to be doing that. Let me switch over to our other screen. All right, so now you should be able to see our project screen here. Let's see. So what we talked about last time when we started the stream is I wrote kind of a section B to our section A. What's up, everybody? I should say hello to everyone, by the way. So Rain Survives is here, Air Laser's here, Animal G is here, Crazy Ike's in here. I saw Plague State, which I believe is Dustin manning that one in there. So everybody that's here, if you're not here, say hello. I'm glad to have you here. As I was saying, the last time we were talking with Morgaine's theme, we were focused on writing that section B as opposed to the section A. And one thing we kind of made a point of is that there definitely needed to be a transition in there, and that sometimes those transitions can be a sticking point. So I kind of skipped it for the time being, so that way we didn't have 50 minutes, an hour of a stream where it's just me trying to figure out what's the 2, 3, 4 measures in between these sections going to be, which, again, probably not that entertaining. So I figured those out in the meantime, off stream. I've got them added in here. I think I like what they're doing, so you guys will get to hear that. In addition to that, like I said earlier, I've got these where it's a little bit of a, maybe like an archaic way of doing it. Once I get these ready for when we're running them in our game, there's going to be a little bit more, I guess, sophisticated ways of doing this. But for now, I just have it set up where it's going to just loop the section that that will be looped without really being able to manipulate it too much. So I'll just let it go all the way through the end and let it kind of loop through, so you can kind of hear when it loops and kind of hear how that transitions and how it's going to kind of fit together. We won't go all the way through it a whole bunch of times, but either way, so this is the Morgaine theme that we have been working on, now with transitions and with kind of the wraparound, so you can kind of feel how it's going to loop together. So here we go. All this drum breakdown is all new here, so, and here comes our transition. Alright, we're going to have a transition and bring it back to the section A. And now we're back to the parts we wrote before, so kind of get a good idea of how that's going to wrap around, and then go back through it again over and over. And we're going to stop right there. Alright, so that should give you an idea of how that's going to go. I might still add a little bit to it. I don't know yet. I'm going to have to actually sit down and actually just sit and listen to it looped for like 10 minutes and just see if it starts to annoy me. And if it does, I'll know that I need a little bit more content in there. If it doesn't, that means that we got enough in there to kind of make it work and kind of let it do its thing. He likes the big, low brass. Yeah, I need to get some of that in there. It's hard to actually make it audible. Like everything else really drowns it out. So mixing it in there without having it being overbearing is something I've been kind of struggling with. I'm starting to get it in there, but it is hard to kind of do. So trying to get it in there without being overbearing. So we'll see how it goes in the future. But that's what we have so far for the Morgaine theme. Again, probably 90+% done there. Gonna do some tweaking here and there. You never know, there might be a little just rearranging here and there and that sort of thing. But for the most part, that one I think we can put a pretty good gold star on it for being done for the most part. And then, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna be moving on to the Skeezer theme. So I'm gonna move over. I've got a new project opened up here. Also, excuse me, the plague is trying to come back and hit me in the head again, but I'm fighting it off. I'm kicking the plague's butt, knocking it back. So if I'm cough a little bit here and there, I apologize. Okay, so what we had discussed a little bit was that Skeezer is going to be probably a little bit different flavor than what the Morgaine theme is. Again, he's more very magical, you know, very curious, very intelligence-based, wisdom-based, very inquisitive, stuff like that. So apparently a Cool Ranch kind of guy, as Rain puts it. That's straight from the source, so the player can only say, so that's canon now, that Skeezer loves Cool Ranch. So so what I'm going to be doing is I'm thinking something a little bit more, we're going to do something a little bit more kind of, I don't even know, like mysterious without being sad, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to try to focus on here is seventh chords, which again, if you don't know a lot about music, no big deal. I won't get too far in the weeds in the theory part of it, but seventh chords, basically a standard chord they call triads, is a first, a third, and a fifth. So just as an example, I have a piano up here. So let me actually put a different piano in here so you can hear it a little better. So just as an example, basic C chord, first, third, and a fifth. So C, E, G. You've probably heard that a million times. Now if you add the seventh, however, you're going to get a completely different sound. So yeah, this is very, it tells you exactly what it is. It's in your face. It makes sense. But when you add that seventh, it adds a little bit of extra, like, almost uncertainty to it. So now it could do something different. You never know. But again, as you go up, you get a lot of, and then you'll get even ones that are, these are called dominant. So this is very like, very kind of like jazz swingy type sounds. So I'm going to be using the seventh chords, I think, a fair amount, at least for the background parts of this. Again, are going to kind of leave that kind of mysterious, maybe a little bit arcane, maybe you're not so sure type of thing. So we're going to be using seventh chords. What we're also going to be using is, as we did in the Morgaine theme, we're going to be using that tritone. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using it in the sense of a Lydian mode. So a Lydian mode basically has that note in it instead of a standard fourth note. So it's, so what I'm going to be doing is using basically, well, actually I'm going to switch my instrument real quick. So that piano, I use this one because it's very easy to hear, but it's not really going to fit the aesthetic of what I want to do here. So I'm actually going to be using this Spitfire Audio, which I've talked a lot about. I'm going to be using that instrument. So it's called soft piano. So if you've ever actually played an actual physical piano before, you'll know that there's three pedals on the bottom. I can't remember which one it is. I want to say, it's been so long since I've been in an actual piano. I want to say it's the far left. It's one of the two outsides. Is the soft, the soft pedal basically. So what it does, they're all a little bit different, but usually what it does is it actually sets down a little bit of the felt onto the keys so that it doesn't ring out true like we just heard. Instead, you kind of get this quiet, almost percussive type of sound. So we're going to be utilizing that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this slider up so we get a little bit more attack out of it. And I'm also, this is set on reverb, I'm going to be giving us some more reverb because that's going to give us that kind of open feel. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing there. I'm actually going to get rid of that one. Hoping it's not going to mess with me. I'm getting a tad bit of latency right now. I don't know if it's because I'm streaming and I have other stuff up or not, but hopefully that's not going to mess me up too much. Actually, I think I'm going to close the other project. Just make sure we save it real quick, just in case that's going to free up some resources a little bit. Okay. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Okay. Plague. I'm killing it. Plague. I'm taking it all in so I can destroy it all for the rest of your good. Okay. So, yes, and as Rain Survives pointed out there, by adding, kind of getting that soft piano and by adding that reverb, you get that kind of dreamy feel already. So, as I've said in many streams before, I am not a piano player, so I'm going to fumble my way through this, and then I'm going to fix it with technology. So, but to give you an idea, kind of the chords and the arpeggios I'm going to be using to start with. First, I'm going to start with that Lydian sound that we talked about. That's got these tritones in them. But I'm actually going to be using them to be, instead of very kind of chaotic, actually to make them kind of more pretty, more beautiful. And you'll probably recognize this because it's the same thing that I used it as an example before. You remember when we did the Simpsons example? Right? So I'm actually going to be using those notes, but we're going to be using them in different ways. So those are the notes we're going to be using. It's a very, it's pretty, but it's got that almost a little bit of chaos in it. So we're going to be using that. All right, let me get my click track up here. And so I'm going to be changing chords a few times, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the arpeggio of each chord separately because, again, I'm not a great performer on a piano, so it's going to be better for all of us if I do that and then go back and fix it. So let's get this down for now. I'm going to start that over. I got a little bit out of time there. I'm going to have to tap a little louder to keep myself in this. All right. Definitely got off on time a little bit there, so we're gonna fix that up. Let's make sure it sounds correct. All right, that'll work. Yes, very, very Zelda, very fairy type of thing. One of the words I asked Rain Survives to give me some single words to describe. One of them was Fae. So yeah, that's kind of what we're working with there. So that one works. Let's trim it to an appropriate size. And then I'm going to duplicate this as I've done before. We're going to use this as our scratch paper. Excuse me. And then the next chord we're going to use is actually very similar. So this is what we had the first one. It's the one I just played. So I'm just going to change that note to this. And now listen what happens to this new chord. So here's the old chord. Now we're going to get a completely different sound by moving one note. Now that one definitely moves away. There's a different kind of tension in that to move to a different place. So we're going to go ahead and work that one in. Okay, so let's fix that one. Make sure it sounds right. Alright, so that will work. Yeah, okay, that's gonna work. So let's trim that one up. Whoops. And we're going to put that up with the first one. And then I'm going to go to a third chord, which is actually going to change a bit. So I'll play all of our chords. So our first one, which goes to... Now we're going to move to... So even more... This one's more minor. Maybe more melancholy. So this chord's going to be a little bit more melancholy. That's going to bring us back to the first chord, which again was a little bit more happy and hopeful, but still kind of strange there. So, all right. I am building these pyramids today. It's true. I wasn't doing it on purpose, but there they are. And we're going to build another one. So, all right. So let's get this last one in here. And then I screwed it up. Oh, stop. Okay, try that again. Actually, I'm going to back myself up a little bit there so I have a little more time to prep. Here we go. Oof. Did it again. All right, let's try that. Let's make sure. Now you can't see it, but this one has the weirdest like finger like coordination to do. It's just kind of strange, so it's messing me up a little bit here. I definitely got the timing a little out on that one, but I think it'll line up okay. And I missed a couple notes. Again, fingerings were weird, so hard to... I kind of hit these and didn't hit them quite as hard as I wanted to on some occurrences here. I think that'll work. And we'll trim it up. Actually, what's going on here? Okay. Don't think I need that last note actually, so get rid of that. Let's make sure it sounds correct. Oh, it doesn't. Hold on. Excuse me. There we go. I forgot I had an extra note at the beginning there, so let's try again. did have one note get kind of out of place, so we'll move it over. That should be right. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so let's listen to all three of our chords back to back, see how they sound. Alright, and I think that should wrap around just fine to the first chord again, so I'm going to copy all of that, put it at the end, just make sure the transition from the last chord to the first chord sounds correct. Yeah, that'll work just fine. Alright, so now we've got two instances of that there. These are a little bit more kind of long and drawn out sections, more so than the Morgaine theme, so I don't know how easily you can see it. I know it's pretty small on the screen there, but we've actually already spanned over a minute of music by just doing that 3 times and copying those 3 and adding them together. So I have a feeling getting to our longer piece mark is not going to be as difficult on this one. Okay. So, excuse me. I'm sorry. All right. So what I want to do, because again, instrumentation I think is going to do a lot for the Skeezer theme, because I think it is the instrumentation, we can do something different and a little strange, as far as compared to like the Morgaine theme and also the theme that I'm going to play at the end, which it doesn't sound like the Morgaine theme. It's not the same thing, but it is certainly in the same vein. Like, if you put them together, you could say, okay, these have the same, like, instrumentation is similar, and the kind of driving feel is similar. Obviously, this one, from the start already, is going to be different. So we want to make sure that the instrumentation also gives an example of it being different. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add duplicate a track. So this one, I'm going to do something different. I am going to use the Spitfire audio again. Now these are the freebies that I did have before the ones that I purchased, but there's a ton of things in here, and some of the things I was hearing when I was kind of thinking of this earlier was maybe like a pizzicato strings. So pizzicato strings, let's open that up, is instead of normally when you have violin, viola, cello, double bass, contrabass, normally you have a bow, you have your strings, and you're drawing that bow across your strings, making kind of these long drawn out tones. Pizzicato is when they actually pluck the strings. So, oops, that's the wrong one. Let me arm the right one here so you can hear an example of it. So you'll hear it can be pretty quiet. I'm actually gonna bring up the attack a little bit, so I don't have to hit these so hard. So I think this is gonna help getting it a little bit more light, whimsical, maybe, is the idea. I know I've used the word whimsical many times. Rain Survives used the word whimsical as well in his description to me, so I think that's something that can work. So what I think I'm going to try to do, something up here. I was kind of picking this around in my head a little bit earlier to go over these kind of these chords. This was something I was thinking of. I don't know if it'll work together, but we're going to try it. So I'm actually going to record this separate without listening to the piano, because they're going to be two melodies that, or I'm sorry, two rhythms that can work together, but they sometimes can be difficult when you're trying to play one while listening to the other. It may not be the case. Maybe it might be perfectly fine for me to do it, but just for the sake of getting it down, and then we'll get it down, we can kind of hear what it sounds like, and if it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good, and we can just kind of deal with it from there. So I think, so I'm going to go through, I'm going to change chords just like we did before, but I'm going to change them in this idea. So I'm going to go through these three changes, basically. We're going to change to, then we're going to change to the last one. So those should follow the chords we did before. I will probably record them separately just because, again, not a great piano performer. So let's get those down, put them together, and see what it sounds like. I'm going to do that again. I did not play very well in the beat, so we're going to try that one more time. Alright, I think I actually played it more times than I needed to, but that is okay. Let's make sure that sounds okay. Oop, there's one that missed. Let's see. Oops. Let's see. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Coughing on microphones. Few more that got a little out of place here. Let's fix those. Oh. Yeah, there we go. That should fix the last one. All right, so that should be good for that. Trim that up, and then let's see where it changed here in our first one. Alright, so that should be, let's see what that sounds like with our first section. I don't really know yet, so. Okay, so actually I think this could benefit from like playing that in octaves. So I played it up here. So if I played it down a little. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do two parts here. So I'm just gonna take all of these, copy, based. Oh, I love to cheat. Alright, so let's see what those sound like together. Actually, I'm gonna mute the first one just so we can hear these together for now. And maybe we'll take it down another octave, see what that sounds like. I like that, but I almost feel like I want to have all 3 octaves. Let's... This may be way overkill. Let's see what it sounds like. Maybe it'll work. Let's just throw it in there, see what happens. Let's see here. I feel like those can work, but something's got to be a little different. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I think we need to probably bring down the pizzicato violin a little bit. Let's see what that's like. Actually, you know what? I bet would help. Let's add some more reverb. I bet that'll do it. When in doubt, add reverb. That might work. That might work. What's up, Grouch Couch? What's up, everybody? Looks like somebody else has jumped in too. Joe Kerr. Thanks for coming in, guys. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, it does have a little bit of that Sims feel. They use that pizzicato string pretty liberally in The Sims, if I remember correctly. So definitely is going to have that feel to it. I need to maybe take off a little bit of the reverb on the piano. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to leave it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to duplicate that piano track because I really feel like having another piano-like instrument playing it will help it sit a little better. So let's see. Don't know. I'm gonna pick a new instrument in here. They've got some really cool ones. Not those. I mean, those are cool too. Not to say those aren't cool. Not the ones I'm looking for. Yeah, let's try some of these. So some of these, let me just solo this for now. I'm just gonna actually put this on a loop just so, whoops, let's just loop the whole thing here. So this way, what this will let me do is just listen to it on repeat while I mess with instruments. It's got some weird dissonance. I don't think that one's gonna work. that. So far I've liked tank piano. This feels very like never-ending story. I don't know. That one might be a little too 80s. Oh. Okay, now we're into pads. So I think the tank piano is one we're listening. I do like tank piano, but I also liked, I think it was this granular piano, and this granular whirly being Wurlitzer. So Wurlitzer was like an electric piano, really popular, I think, in the like 50s, 60s, if I remember right. And I still get used today, but they've got a very unique sound. So that's what it's referring to when you see whirly on there. We will be putting violins probably in here, but they're not going to be featured quite as prominently as they have been in like the Morgaine theme and the one I'm going to play at the end. But they definitely need to be there because I do want there to be some instrument continuity between the themes, because they are going to be going from one to another. And again, because we roll initiative every time, the characters could be going in any order. So I do want to make sure that it's clearly different between characters, but it's not so different that it's jarring. So it's not like, oh, we listen to a classical piano piece and then we listen to no FX and then we listen to, we listen to whatever, Number of the Beast, and then we switched over to some Sarah McLachlan. Like those in a playlist, yeah, maybe that's what you want to work out to. I don't know, but if I'm trying to make some continuity, I think we can agree that those don't necessarily have that continuity. So I'm trying to make sure there is some continuity while definitely making them unique. Yes, Zombie Decoy. I am going to be, once they're getting finished up, I am going to be putting them over on YouTube. Probably going to have them somehow available through the Discord as well. So I just have to I have to kind of figure out what the best way to do that is, but I definitely want to make it available to our TT2KB community. Again, one, because it's part of our game. That's, our Everstorm game, and TT2KB is kind of what all of our things are focused on. So I want everybody that's a part of it, that watches it, that enjoys it, or watches this show and enjoys it. I want everybody to have access to it. And I want to make it the easiest way possible. If YouTube is it, that'll be it. If it's Discord, whatever. But I'll figure out what the best way of doing that will be. I'm not sure yet, but I definitely want to make them available. So the key is I have to make them first. So I have to get through making them all here first. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, if I'm at the point of, I have a bit of work to do here for our Everstorm game right now, but I am planning on putting together, this is in reference to Joker's question there, or comment there. I once I kind of get through what I have planned for our Everstorm project, I'm going to be continuing to write new things, continuing to compose new things, and those are going to be, I don't know yet if I'm going to try to do like some general things, because I do want to kind of do that, like, okay, here is a general battle theme, or here is a general mysterious theme, or this is a, maybe I make like, oh, this is a dwarven theme because, it's big and booming drums or something, or this is a gnome theme and it's really like weird and tinkery. So I've thought about kind of doing some general ones like that. Again, because I do want to kind of put these out there, have them licensable and all that sort of thing. So that might be an option. Of course, commission pieces may come along too. I don't know. But yeah, definitely want to be doing that. Definitely want some of that. definitely want some of that to be out there and have everybody be able to do it, and then expand beyond our Everstorm game once I get to that. So we shall see. We shall see. Yes, Mouse, I definitely need more instruments in my room. It's a constant worry of mine, is that I do not have enough, and I'm always looking for more. So it's a disease. It's not the plague like I have. It's just the disease that I have. I have to have more all the time, and I'm constantly telling myself not to buy a new thing. So yeah, it's there's so many things that I just want, and then I'll start to realize that, oh, that's so similar to the other thing I have that already, fills this specific sound or this specific need. And then I have to start thinking, okay, well, is the one I have good enough, or do I need to replace it with this other one? So I'm trying not to accumulate too many more before I kind of replace the ones that I don't use very much. But anyway, I digress. All right, so back to a Skeezer theme here. We are getting arcane. We are getting whimsical. I think I want to use this granular piano because it kind of I think the word might be bloom. So you can hear when I hit one note, it kind of comes out and does all these extra things and keeps making different noises. So I kind of want that blooming happening, I think, around the regular straight piano that I had in there too. That way I can kind of get that blooming without diluting the piano sound, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try to mix these a little bit here. Alright, so what I did, actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to duplicate the track once again. And I'm going to use, on this third version of this, I'm going to use that other one I was looking at. I believe it was the tank piano? I want to use something else that also blooms, but I want it to sound a little bit different. Maybe I'll go with that one will work. So what I am doing is I'm actually taking the one the main one is still in the center, but what I'm doing is I'm panning one of them to the right, one of them to the left. So what it should do is we're still going to get that sound of the main arpeggio in there, but then we're going to get a different blooming sound kind of in the left and the right ear. So if you have headphones on, or if you don't have headphones on, now it's time to put them on. You're going to hear kind of things happening in both sides here. So let's just kind of see how that plays out. I think that's gonna work. Now let's kind of see. Now I'll go back to that pizzicato and see if that sits a little better in that mix or not. I'm still, yeah, and those you'll notice that those that blooming effect. actually kind of tails off, and it takes a while to go away. So it's there's a lot of computer processing happening, which again, sometimes on a computer, sometimes a synthesizer, but there's a lot of that happening in the background and still going after you've let go of the keys and even after the notes are done being played. So there's a lot of tail happening. Excuse me, but yeah, there's a lot of interesting things that happen, and I really wanted to utilize some of these blooming effects and these reverbs and these delays to in the Skeezer theme, because it's, again, gives it that ethereal, gives it that magical, whimsical kind of feel. So, all right, so let's see what these pizzicato strings, if I can make them work in here. Definitely think I just need to turn them down a bit. So that's what I did there, is I actually reduced the volume on those pizzicatos. I'm going to go ahead and add the other two chords of the pizzicato strings, so that way we have those. So let's solo these two. Nope, wrong one. Let's make sure we get this. Also, the pizzicatos. Where are they hiding? There it is. Alright, so we did this one. So I want to do That's it. Okay. So let's get the second one in there. Alright, so we'll start in here. Let's get that click going. Alright, obviously that didn't have all the all the reverb on it, but that's okay. When we move it up, it will. So let's make sure. I can already see some of those didn't get lined up right. So let's listen through and find them. There's one. Yep, there's another one. I see another one already. Let's see if we can preemptive strike on that one. Let's see here. Oh, there's another one. So I think it's actually all three of the. Nope. This one, and this one all got shifted. Let's see what that sounds like. Yep, there's another one. So probably this one all got shifted. Looks like that one got shifted too. Alright, let's see if that sounds right. Oh, nope. Yeah. There we go. All right. Let's see here. All right, sorry. Getting back a little bit here. Sorry, am I lagging for anybody else? I apologize. All right, so let's get these organized. Get that plopped in there. And let's get the last chord, which is going to be... So let's get that one done. Yeah, let's do it. Ugh, I missed it. Ah. All right, we'll try that again. Ah. I'm getting too nervous tracking this. All right, let's try this again. All right, that was still not great, but it was better. So let's see if we can fix it. Hopefully not too many funky things happening in there. Oh, there's one. Let's see. I think that's it. That was not it. Okay. You know what? Let's delete. Let's just turn all these off but this one. And what do you know? Do it with turning everything else off and it works. All right, now let's fix it. Oh, there's one. There we go. Ugh, I'm so sorry. So many coughs. So many coughs. Alright, so we're going to put that in there. Drop it in there. I believe these should all work together. So let's put it in. And let's see what it all sounds like together with reverb and all that. And I'll catch up on the chat a little bit. I've been trying to pay attention. That's going to work. I am going to do the same thing on those other sections that I did on the first one, where I make a whole bunch of copies of octaves. And let's make one more copy. And take it another octave. Fun with noises. All right, and let's do the last one. And make another copy. So we've got a lot of ethereal craziness happening here. Let's copy, let's paste. All right, so now we should have that all the way through. I think what I am going to do as well, I'm going to duplicate that last track. And I'm actually going to make, so there's a pizzicato and there's also a Bartok pizzicato, which is like, if I remember right, that is I think that's when they, instead of picking, I think they actually use the bow, but they use it percussively, so they're actually hitting it instead. Don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure, but I believe that's what it is. So you can kind of hear that. So what I'm going to do, actually, yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use that instrument. And I think I'm going to, again, move these left and right a little bit. So we're going to go, the first pizzicatos, we're going to make them to the left a little bit. We're going to make the Bartoks to the right a little bit. Oh, I can't. Come on. 30%. I'm trying to get 30. There we go. And then let's get this one 30% the other direction. And hopefully, let's solo those. Hopefully they'll give us a little bit of a stereo spread. So if you have headphones on right now, I think you should be able to hear the difference between the two sides. All right, so yes, and for the Bartok, the ones where they're hitting it, there's actually, I put less reverb on that. So what that does is, since one has a lot of reverb and one has less, the one I put less reverb on is the one that's got more of, as we talked about, the transient, that kind of slap sound. So it gives it a little bit more of a percussive feel without being overbearing. So let's hear the pieces together there. So what I don't know if I'm going to do it quite at this point yet, but as I'm sure you can all hear, two very distinct, almost like rhythm feels happening together, and they definitely can work together. But what I want to do is I definitely need to establish some amount of a defined rhythm. I'm not sure what instrumentation I want to do with that yet. Again, I'd like to see if I can use some of the same percussion that I used in some of the other themes, but I'm a little afraid those are going to be a little heavy-handed for this, so I might have to experiment a little bit with that. But I kind of want to give you an idea. I'm just going to kind of mess around, again, using snaps to kind of give you the feel, like using the accented snaps to kind of give you the feel of what I think the rhythm that I'm going to try to establish is going to be here. So let's just take a listen there. So what that's going to do is that's going to, again, it's, I think we talked about it in the very first stream with an emiola, where you're getting two different rhythms that are getting away from each other, then coming back together, getting away from each other and coming back together. So instead of all being on like snaps, the two different parts that are playing now are kind of coming apart, and then they come back together every so often. And I'm going to be doing kind of the same thing with a rhythm. So that kind of give you an idea of what I was feeling for the rhythm there. Again, don't quite know the instrumentation yet, but that's kind of that's the rhythm and the idea I want to keep in my head while I'm putting these together. So that's kind of what I'm trying to establish in there. So and since we have a lot of moving going on as far as this pianos and pizzicatos and everything, I think I want to try and establish some long strings, like some long underneath that. Really don't know what to do with that yet. So I'm just going to kind of listen and play around a little bit and see if I can come up with some stuff. So prepare for creative process. Kind of like that. It almost is. It's almost creating a waltz feel, like a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So let's see what notes can actually work in there. But I think I like that waltz feel to this. That is actually turning into better than I was thinking. So that actually, I might go up an octave and I might make that more of a melody than I was thinking. I was thinking I was going to start working on lower string parts, which I think I will still do, but that definitely felt more melody to me. So I'm going to bring myself up an octave here. Maybe not that high. Alright, let's see if we can just get a melody for just this first section, and then we'll kind of work through that. Alright, I'm going to do that one more time. Trying to figure out what note I want to get to when it changes. I think it might be that note, so kind of just play the end of it here, see what that sounds like. Okay, so I think what I might do, actually, so I think I've established that's the note I want to get to for when I change. And then I'm going to listen from the transition from the second to the third chord to see what note works best there. I'm guessing it's probably going to be like a D or B, something down there. So let's kind of see how that plays. Let's try that again. That B works really well. Yeah. All right, so I think I'm just gonna play some stuff in that rhythm, and I think kind of like we did in the very first one, where it's like I'm just gonna play some stuff, and then we're gonna go through and kick out what we don't like and add what we do like and fix what needs to be fixed. So I'm just gonna start playing, and we're gonna see what happens. This could get ugly, but all right. So again, we're using that tritone Lydian feel to kind of give us that dreamy, soaring kind of feeling to this. So I think that extra note is really what's opening this up here. So, all right, let's see what happens. I definitely hit an F natural instead of an F sharp in there. So, all right. So let's fix it, sorta. Let's quantize it so that it kind of fits in the rhythm, and let's just kind of listen and see what works, see what doesn't. Here we go. I want to lengthen this note. I went from one note to the next too quickly, so I'm going to lengthen a note and shorten this top one. I think that's going to give me the rhythm I want. still... I don't know where that... Oh, it's back here. It's still coming up. There's a clunker still coming. Oh, there it is. There's another clunker coming, I think, still, too. Just want to clean that up just a hair before I forget about it. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Alright, clean those up just a bit too. Let's see here. I think this needs to be a little shorter. This one needs to be a little longer. And this one needs to be a little longer. Let's see what that sounds like. All right. I don't hate it. There's some ideas in there. I don't think it's perfect, but I'm gonna kind of leave it be for right now because it's serving the purpose of that top line, which is what I wanted. I wanted it to have kind of a top line on top of this. So I have a feeling I'm going to tweak that a little bit in the future, but for right now, again, it's playing its part, it's serving its purpose, and I think it is adding what it needs to add so we can be creative with some of the other things. So I am going to do a couple of things here before I go back and play with that. Kind of have to see how long that takes. But I do want to get in, if nothing else, some basic percussion to really kind of drive that waltz feel home. If this were not the theme that was going to be being played in combat, I probably would leave this without percussion altogether, and just kind of let it be instruments without percussion or very light percussion. But I feel like, again, with some of the others being really heavy-handed percussion, where I think are going to be heavy-handed percussion, I want to at least have some percussion in here just to keep that kind of driving feel going, even though obviously we're kind of in a dreamscape a little bit here. So, excuse me. So I think I want to establish that, but I don't want to get super heavy-handed with percussion. But I do want to get something in there right now. So let me just take a quick read through here, see what I'm doing. I saw that Leviathan had arrived. Glad you guys are enjoying it so far, it sounds like. I'm glad that he guessed that it sounds skeezery. Let's see. You guys, I am not legend. I am nearly stumbling through this and making things that sound all right, that I think are good. So, all right. So, so Rain Survives asks, so is your plan to switch tracks when it's specific characters' turn in combat, or just have one playing randomly in cycle? So my hope is there's still some technical hurdles we'll have to jump with this. But I have a MIDI controller over here. You can't really see it. But my hope is that when it is whoever's turn in combat, I can have their theme play, and then we'll play it as long as their turn is working, and then as the next person comes up, next character, or I'm gonna have to make some villain music too. So once that switches to the next initiative in combat, I'm gonna either try to just fade out and fade in, fade out the previous character's theme while fading in the other, or I'm gonna try to see this one. I would love it if this worked, but I don't know if it will yet. I'm going to see if I can make some universal transitions that can make one, end of one person's song goes into a transition and it works right, and then it goes into the next song transitioning in. Again, not sure that's going to work yet. That would be perfect world. I would love for that to work, but that's going to take some experimentation and some playing around. So to answer your question more plainly, yes, I think I would like to switch tracks per character as it's their turn. So I figure at the very least, most of the time when we're taking a turn in combat, it takes at least, I would say on a really quick move in combat, we're talking about 2 minutes. If we're talking about a more drawn out round in combat, we're talking more like 5 minutes, 10 minutes if we're like making jokes and stuff while somebody's combat's happening. So yeah, technical hurdles aside, that's what I would like to do eventually, but we'll have to kind of see how that works. Yeah, and that was the idea too, is he's saying that it should really help people know whose turn it is, which I think I mentioned this one of the previous streams, that I would like it to be not only you're seeing one person talking and telling you what they're doing, you're hearing the DM say it's so-and-so's turn, but you're also hearing that theme every time that person comes up. So it becomes part of that character. So, again, I used the example of the Imperial March with Darth Vader before. I want, again, maybe not to that extreme, but it would be nice that if there could be listeners and watchers could have some sort of recognition of, that character belongs with that theme. So we'll see. That would be great. It'd be icing on the cake if we got it to that point. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm definitely going to integrate it into game. Whether or not people will start associating the song and the person and the song back and forth, we'll see. But would love it if it did turn out that way. So all right, so we want to establish a bit of a waltz here. So I think I'm gonna need, the best way to make a waltz is a bass drum and a snare drum. And let's see. This might start out a little cheesy and then hopefully work to the less cheesy side of the spectrum as we go. Nope, I got that. All right, let's see if we can make something like that work. Something like that might work. Let's. I'm just gonna try to record some stuff, and again, we'll see what works and see what doesn't. So Actually, what I'm going to change first. Oops, not what I wanted. Let's undo that. So I can actually change my, not my tempo, but my time signature to 3/4. So hopefully that will, that's going to establish that even better. So let's bring this over to, let's grab all of this. I'm just lining this up with, now that we have 3/4 measures, I'm lining this up with a measure line, so that way the clicks make a little more sense in my ear. Alright, so let's see here. So that sounds, sorry, I played that one a little quiet, so I'm fixing that. It sounds very strange right now, if I do say so myself, but that should change. Let's listen to it here real quick. Real quiet, so I'm gonna bring that one up. Okay, so what I think I need to do, I'm gonna duplicate this. There's a lot of duplicating that happens, in case you were curious. I'm actually gonna use I'm gonna use my Spitfire audio, and I'm gonna use, they actually have a drum kit, which is very like drum kit. But I've noticed it works pretty well if you are doubling. So what I'm going to do, let's see here. So I'm going to listen to them together. Actually, I'm going to listen to them by themselves. One's okay, so let's see. Those might be really loud. I'm going to have to turn them down, but let's see what they sound like with everything else. What I'm going to do too, since these are kind of playing the same thing, I am going to pan them left and right, and that way we're going to, we're going to get the sounds, and even because they're very similar, but because they're just a little different, we're going to have one in each ear and see how that sounds. Add a little bit more reverb to the kind of drum setty sounding one. Alright, so again, for now, I think that'll work. I definitely want to get more intricate with that. Probably adding some other parts, but for now, that certainly will work. Behind that. So, okay, so now again, so that kind of helps establish that that waltz feel to it. So so I think on the drum setty one, that snares, or I'm sorry, the bass drum is really intense. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to go through. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, plague. Sorry that I'm coughing into the microphone. So I'm going to take these. I think I'm going to drop them all down a little bit. So I don't want their attack to be so hard. I want it to be a little bit more of a boomy instead of a slap, if that makes sense. So let's see what that sounds like. Okay, that's good. But now the ones that are the quieter ones are a little too quiet. So I'm going to just bring some of those up just a hair. Ooh, oh my. Bring this one up to just to make them a little more even there. So I think that will help. And since we fixed those, let's copy paste that. So now they're all fixed. Okay, so again, that's not quite perfect yet, but we're establishing. Let me bring those both down just a hair again. Because I do want to focus on the musical part of it, not so much the rhythmic part of it. Let's just kind of take a listen. I'm just kind of listening to it, kind of fishing for ideas on what I want to add in here. So I do think I want to do some clickiness in the background here, so I'm going to play around with that. Add that in there. It's going to be a lot quieter than that once I get it in the actual mix, but let's just track it for now. Oops, gonna need a click track. Yeah, I didn't realize when I was first doing this, but you guys can't hear the click track. Apparently it doesn't come through, so it's really just for me, but essentially I can turn it on where it just clicks the beats to me, so that way I can make sure I'm recording it in time. I'm not just magical like that, so so let's go ahead. let's quantize that. Played that pretty cleanly, so I assume that's going to work. And it's definitely going to need to be turned down, so let's kind of listen. Add some reverb, for sure. That reverb fixes everything. Key to life. Reverb fixes everything. So let me listen to that one more time now that I have the reverb all the way in. Okay. That's gonna work. I don't want to get too messy here, but I was listening and I was kind of remembering that I have like a hand bells. And I think hand bells could be really cool in here. Sleigh bells, that's not what I want. Let me see if I can find it here. There's so many like cool. Ooh, or a music box. Oh, let's see what the music box sounds like. That's not it. Turn that off. Turn that. Oh, that's so creepy little hand Skeezer. Let's see. It's a resonator. Okay, that's a little less. Yes, creepy little hand Skeezer. That's new. That's also canon. Leviathan, take note. We determined earlier in the stream that Skeezer is to be described as Cool Ranch. That is. I'm not sure why, but we decided that was canon too, so. Okay, so music box might work. Let me find those bells too, though. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So much coughing. I'm ready to be done with it too. Let's see. Super interesting as I scroll through menus. Here we go. Handbells. Oh, there's only so much range here. So only got 2 octaves of range. Maybe I can add those in as little accent things. So let's see here. I'm gonna see if we can add some just like almost like accenting the chords, like maybe on the beat. can make something work there. Let's see here. I don't want to get too busy with these, but I want to get those kind of like accents. So. So let's see what we got there. Oh, I don't have that note. It's out of the range. Okay, let's see what happens here. All right. I think that can work. Definitely need to mix that down though, because it's not something that I want like right in your face. Got an idea here too. Just to make it that much more complicated, I'm going to duplicate this track. Maybe. Duplicate this track. I'm going to go in and I'm actually going to cut this in between when it changes. And I'm going to pan them left and right as they hit. I don't know why I'm adding this extra difficulty for myself, but it seems like the right thing to do. So that's what we're going to do. I think it'll be cool. So what I'm doing here is I'm splitting these. So that way, what I'm going to eventually do after I get done splitting them is I'm going to alternate them. So each section will only be played in either the top track or the bottom track And that way, when I pan them left and right, it'll sound like they're moving left and right. Is there yeah, there's a break in there. All right. Welcome to Tedium. Oh, I'm running low on time too. This is probably the last thing I do here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is first, so delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that. Hopefully this doesn't sound terrible, since I'm just, you know, getting rid of all these things. All right, so now what I'll do, so I'm going to have one pan 75% to the left, one pan 75% to the right. And they should, if you got your headphones on, they should be going left, right, left, right, left, right. So I hope that adds a little bit more magic, a little whimsical magic to it. Let's see what it sounds like. All right, so that's what we got for this evening. That's what we've built so far. Excuse me. We are running out of time, so I think that's all I'm gonna do on this for this evening, because I did want to save a little time for the other, as promised, theme that I haven't quite figured out exactly what we're gonna do yet. But I do want to play that for you guys too. I definitely want to save this real quick. So we're going to call this, let's see, save project as, let's go to, let's actually just call this Skeezer theme. Actually, copy that. Fun fact, if you are ever using Reaper, always make a folder for the name of the thing you want, and then save inside that folder, or else all the files get thrown everywhere. So if any of you ever do that, I learned that the hard way. Crazy Ike and I figured that out, so that way we actually keep these somewhat organized. So, all right, so the Skeezer, start of the Skeezer theme is now saved. I think we made some good work on that tonight. Again, was trying to do kind of that ethereal, dreamy, magical, you know, whimsical, kind of catch all those types of things, which again are kind of not necessarily what would be fitting for the Morgaine theme, even though we did use a lot of the same sounds, the that kind of Lydian sound with that tritone making it extra like happy and everything. So again, a little bit of similarity there, but so yeah, so I believe we will be probably continue on this next week. I think what we're going to try to do, unless a project comes along that's just extra large that we need to do a lot of work on, I'm going to try to do as much work as I can in 2 shows on these, and then maybe finish the rest off camera, because like I discovered with the Morgaine theme is that I had a fair amount to do, but it didn't actually take up a lot of musical time, so it was just a lot of me tweaking knobs, and that's not that interesting. So I think what I'm going to try to do is get almost all of the creative stuff done in 2 shows, and then I can finish it off air and play it for you afterwards, so you hear kind of the finished products. Yeah, it did say the skis. That was that was basically when that first long arpeggio, I just recorded it real quick when I came up with that idea, so that way I wouldn't forget what it sounded like. So that's what I figured out. That was the thing I figured out beforehand. So that's kind of the initial idea that I wanted to just make sure I had saved somewhere, so that I had, in case I forgot it, I had it somewhere so I could start this with it. So it did say the skis. Anyway, so the other one, the thing I pitched earlier, I promised earlier, is I am going to play another one of the themes that I had been working on off stream. Right now it is named the Kodo theme, but after listening to it and talking to some of the guys, it still might be the Kodo theme. We haven't decided yet. If it is not, and we decide to go a different direction for the Kodo theme, I think this might work for the Sarah's Grit theme. So if you guys have an opinion here, go ahead and let them be known. But I am going to play the one I was working on off camera, so that way you guys can hear what it sounds like. I do have this set up so that it will repeat back, so you can kind of hear it wrap back around too. This one again is going to be a little bit more same tempo, but it's going to be more driving, more upbeat, more maybe more military feel, more getting things done type of feel. So without further ado, here is the other piece I've been working on. And now it's actually wrapped back around into the first part, so that's where it would continue to loop through that. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop it. So that is that's for Leviathan, who came in late. This is either originally I was thinking maybe this might be the Kodo theme, but the more and more I listen to it, it could work for that. I don't have a different idea for a Kodo theme right now, but Rain had pointed out that that might actually be a Sarah's Grit theme as well. So I don't know, but it'll be one of those things. I don't know quite yet, but it's pretty driving. I feel like it'll work pretty well in a combat situation. So so that's one I've been working on too. And again, that one I would say is probably in the same kind of boat as the Morgaine theme, where it's about 90+% done. Have a few little things I need to kind of tweak still in there, but yeah, so that's the other one I've been working on. We get to start DJ Morgaine once, one, I have the themes done, and two, I have we've figured out the technical hurdles to get that figured out. So Crazy Ike and I we worked on it for a little bit one night, didn't quite get it figured out, so we'll probably be working on that again sometime in the near future to kind of figure out how to make that work where I can DJ it from here, but it goes into the stream. I feel like the answer's out there. We just haven't found it yet. So I think it'll be a thing we can do. We just haven't quite discovered how to do it yet. So anyway, since we're wrapping up the stream here, time for lots and lots of plugs. So first thing, my shirt, as I know was mentioned earlier. Move out of the way of my microphone here. Shirt, as was mentioned earlier, we do have merch. If somebody would go ahead and link that would be great. Our Redbubble, if you do want to support us, that is a great way to do it. We've got a fair amount on there. There are Bardic Knowledge shirts, there are Wisdom Check shirts, there's TT2KB shirts. You can also get all that stuff on like coffee mugs and all kinds of other gear, hats. Air Laser's got plenty of it. She's supporting us. We really appreciate that she does that. She's also our Mod of the Century, Mod of the Common Era, posting all this stuff up here. So also we've got our YouTube channel now, so you can watch past episodes of this show, Bardic Knowledge, or you can watch past episodes of the Wisdom Check. We're getting I don't know if we've got them all up there, or we're starting to get almost all of our backlog of Everstorm games up there. So what we're trying to do is, after the stuff's gone up on Twitch, we're putting it there, so that way if anybody wants to catch up later, they can go back and kind of see things, and that way the next time they come watch the Twitch stream, they're not as behind, or they figure things out. In addition to that, the Wisdom Check show, it's on Monday nights with Rain Survives and Dustin, who is Plague State. I don't know if he's in here anymore. He wasn't here earlier, but either way, those guys have had a talk show going for over a year now. They're already in season 2. All things gaming, tabletop RPGs. They do talk a little video games and stuff occasionally too, but always have a great guest. Again, mostly tabletop RPGs. It's developers, it's other players, it's DMs. We've had a cartographer. They've had, stunt people on. They've had all kinds of different things on there before. So it's a really great show. Check them out. You can obviously watch them on the show when it streams. You can watch them on YouTube. You can also listen to them now on iPod, on podcasts through iTunes. You can watch or listen to them on Spotify, and I believe also iHeartRadio now. So you can kind of listen to them, whatever your favorite is there. In addition to that, we do have our stream team. So those guys, we've got Dragons in the Dining Room, we've got Grouch Couch, we've got Liching Hour. We're all kind of working together, trying to promote each other. So definitely check those guys' streams out. They all do great stuff, all different varieties of tabletop RPG type of content. Again, bunch of different things there. Check out Air Laser's channel. She's been great mod for us. She's been very helpful for us. She's got a great channel. She plays D&D on there. She also plays different video games on there. So she's kind of a whole variety of streams on there. Check her out for sure. Also our Discord. So check out, go to our Discord. It is linked in there. We've got so many conversations going on there all the time, whether it be about one of our shows, about some of our friends' shows, whether it's DIY art, whether it's anything. And it's not just for us; it's for everybody that's on there too, to share what they're doing. Pictures, descriptions, whatever. Looking for gaming groups. So go on there. It's a great community. Tons of people on there all the time, talking back and forth and making connections. So check that out. Yes, Zweihander, I believe, is being played this Thursday. I know it's one of the last few of his like kind of chapter that he's doing here. So Dustin's going to be running Zweihander. They're kind of gearing up for the end of their like chapter. So definitely check them out on Thursday night. We'll post the exact times and everything. I'm not sure what they are off the top of my head. And I think this is the last one. Want to plug David Lee Pancake. It's Rain's dad, who is a 3D artist, has been making fantastic art for decades. Almost all of it is fantasy or sci-fi themed. Great stuff on there. Taxidermy dragon heads. He's got trinkets. He's got necklaces. He's got dice boxes. Tons of stuff. He also has just launched his Patreon page, so check that out too. It's also in the link. Check him out. He's been supporting us just with having a place for us to play and all that for years and years and years, so we're forever thankful. Definitely check him out. We've got our code on there if you want. Use it at checkout with him. I believe there's a bit of a discount if you do that. And the big one, C2E2, the convention this coming weekend in Chicago. All of Tabletop to Keyboard is going to be there. We're all going to be there. We're actually presenting at 5:45 on Saturday night. Our resident DM, Levi, is going to be kind of the main host of the talk, but it's going to be all about homebrew, making that sandbox world for players to live in, as opposed to running a module. So if you don't want to run a module, or you've run modules before and you want to try something different, this is going to be all about making your own immersive world, making enemies that the characters care about, or that care about to hate, or making NPCs that they care for, just really make an immersive world. So it's going to be awesome. We're really excited about it. If anybody's going to be in Chicago and they're going to be at C2E2, please come by, come say hi, come see our little presentation. We'd really appreciate it. And also David Lee Pancake's going to be there too. So if you want to check out his art in person, definitely go check him out. You can check on the C2E2's website for all the booth listings. I don't know what his booth number is off the top of my head. If Rain Survives, he might put it in there. But either way, check him out. Check us out. I believe we're going to be raiding over to Liching Hour. If one of you guys, like Rain Survives, wants to jump on and get that set up for me, that'd be great, because I'm not currently logged into the TT2KB account right now. So if somebody wants to jump in and do that for me, that would be awesome. Otherwise, I think that's my time for this evening. I thank you so much again for joining me. Come back next week. I'm going to be continuing on this. Hopefully we're going to be making more headway, probably getting to the 75-80% mark of finishing this up, and then I'll probably do the last tweaks off stream. But definitely come back. We're doing the dreamy, ethereal, whimsical Skeezer again. So again, thank you guys for coming. I'm going to throw us to our thank you screen, so please stick around for a couple of minutes here. We're going to go raid Liching Hour. So again, everybody, thank you again. We will see you next week, or we'll see you this weekend at the convention if you can be there. So thanks again.